Should you check your husband's phone or not? Pros, cons, and consequences. In this video, we will discuss whether it is worth checking your man's phone or if it is ultimately a dead end. But before we move on to the discussion, I ask you to click the subscribe button and like this video so that as many people as possible can see it and the video gets recommended. So let's get started. Let's start with the fact that there are indeed reasons why a woman wants. Interfering with a man's personal space means there are some reasons for distrust. And one of the primary reasons is self-doubt. In fact, this is often the most common reason. A woman may feel so insecure at times that the thought, or perhaps not even a thought, but a subconscious feeling arises that she is not worthy of such a man. Perhaps she loves him deeply, admires him greatly, or he is attractive and has achieved certain successes. Somewhere at a subconscious level, she understands that she does not measure up to him, and this is likely a misconception. However, due to her self-esteem issues, she thinks this way, and from all of this, distrust is born. If he is better than me, then he is likely capable of cheating. He probably has someone else, and there may be some messages. Here, ordinary jealousy occurs. Instead of focusing on her own development and self-esteem, a woman begins to interfere with her man's personal space due to her distrust, often harming the relationship. Furthermore, if he is found to be unfaithful, this becomes a reason for the woman to periodically check her man's phone. But here the conversation is again about the need to raise self-esteem, but from the perspective that if there has already been betrayal in your relationship and you understand that there is no trust, then what are you doing in this relationship? Again, it is necessary to work on your self-esteem. And it is necessary to figure out whether such a man is needed. Rather than being in constant stress, always looking for hidden motives and living in some kind of distrust. Moving on, the next reason is a lack of attention. Sometimes a man is overwhelmed with work. He may experience some, let's say, multitasking, meaning there are some urgent tasks at work, and he has come up with something else for himself. He is moving forward. Men, by their nature, are achievers. And if a man has a new idea, if something is happening at work, he understands that perhaps something new will come out of it. He can completely immerse himself in work in order to achieve something. And at that moment, a woman may feel a lack of attention because men and women love differently. At that moment, a woman may feel what seems to her like some cooling off. And instead of just sitting down, for example, and talking when the man comes home from work, feeding him and asking what is happening in his life, why he is spending less time with her, she starts checking phones, looking for other women, thereby again destroying her family with that distrust. Furthermore, she cannot establish personal boundaries. This is another reason, that is, the woman understands that my man, we are married, so he is mine, which means everything connected to him is mine. His phone is also mine, which means I have the right to invade where I possibly should not. Men and women have their personal conversations. There are some conversations, let's say, conversations with friends. Women have conversations with girlfriends that the woman might not want her man to see. That is women's something, possibly, let's say, gossip or something of that sort. But we wouldn't really want a man to read what we are laughing about with our girlfriends. Similarly, a man does not want his personal space to be invaded without permission. Next, is it worth checking? So now let's talk about what checking. Your man's phone can lead to, and first you will be nervous. You will be in tension. That is, you check and you are afraid. You are actually afraid to find something that could destroy your relationship. Here, it is necessary to ask the question, are relationships needed where there is so much distrust? If you do not trust the man so much, then the question arises, what kind of relationship is it where one has to resort to such methods, checking messages, messengers, checking some social networks? Why? What is the need for this if you have strong, happy relationships? And if your relationship is not like that, then why all of this? Next, you can escalate the situation again. You might read something in a conversation with a friend, or perhaps a colleague wrote something with a completely different subtext, but you can make a mountain out of a molehill, especially when a woman is searching and has already worked herself up. Then any information can be read through the lens of her perception, and in reality, even strong relationships can be destroyed. You may lose trust. That is, you won't find anything. The man understands that something is wrong. He feels uncomfortable with these checks, but it feels like being interrogated when you are not trusted. You haven't given any reason, yet your personal belongings are being checked, and this breeds distrust. Furthermore, you will humiliate yourself. That is, by showing the man that you do not trust him, You are already allowing for the possibility of infidelity towards you, and you are already searching for that infidelity. The man may not have even had the thought of cheating on you, but now, being under suspicion, being in such a humiliated position, a woman often pushes the man into her fears. Furthermore, you provoke him with your fears. This is what I mentioned. Often in life, what we direct our energy towards happens. If you are very afraid of infidelity and betrayal, then you need to work on yourself. Well, unless this is about repeated infidelities, that is, you experience pain, forgave the person, and now you do not trust him. If distrust arises simply from within you, you need to work on yourself. Otherwise, you will just destroy the relationship. You will push the man towards where your fear lies. Often, women with this distrust and testing push the man to where he ultimately ends up, because a woman who is confident in herself, who loves herself, and who has a good self-esteem does not waste time on such pointless activities. She will engage in something even more interesting for herself. She is passionate by nature. She is interested in personal growth, and she is interesting to her man. She doesn't even entertain the thought that her man could be unfaithful. Well, if it happens in life, then you should address problems as they arise. But as soon as a woman directs all her fear towards infidelity and distrust, she is likely to receive that in her life. Moreover, when you try to restrict his freedom by intervening so much in his personal space, you are, in a way, placing the man in a cage. And what does every single person want to do when they are deprived of some freedom? They want to escape. A man may have been fine with everything. He may like you. He may even love you. But now these restrictions have squeezed him so tightly that he just wants to be free, to breathe fresh air. And now he is trying to get rid of you like an annoying fly. A woman creates her own life, so how can she get rid of suspicions? How can she rid herself of all this? There is one simple word: trust. Learn to trust. If you had reasons not to trust your man, then there are two options. Either you realize that this person is no longer worthy of your trust, and then you should part ways, or you give him another chance and learn to trust again. But if you do not learn to trust, you will not be able to build happy, harmonious relationships. Any strong, happy, long-lasting relationship is built on trust. Learn to trust. Learn to dive into life. Learn to tear your heart open. Learn to live from the heart, not from the head, not from your fears and worries. Learn to love, to trust, and not to be afraid of what may happen at some point. Learn to live in trust with your man, then no fears in your life may arise. That's all for this video. I was Alisa Wardomska. I hope for your likes and subscriptions. Write in the comments what you would like to discuss in my new videos, and don't forget to hit the bell.